I was born and raised in a Christian home, and for the majority of my life, I was your typical case of, hey, I said I was a Christian, but I really wasn't. And so it was right before the summer of my junior year of high school, and some pretty heavy things happened in my life, and I just found myself in this really dark place. And I didn't know where to turn, or honestly, who to turn to, so I self-medicated, and I turned to alcohol. I allowed that to go on for quite some time before I realized, hey, this isn't working. Shocker. Um, yeah, so I had heard about Jesus in some of the relationships in my life, kind of like nonchalantly, like people just mentioned him. And I remembered him from my childhood, so I was like, hey, why not give God a shot? And so I did. I heard about this thing called worship, and I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I want to try that. And so one day, my entire family had left the house, and I jumped out of bed, and I ran in the living room, and I locked everything up, and I turned the lights off, and I was about to have a little worship sesh in my living room by myself. And so I put YouTube on my television, and I played the song Love on the Line by Hillsong. And I plugged in headphones, and I turned the volume all the way up on the TV and all the way up in my phone, because I thought to myself, surely if I hear myself sing, that will ruin this whole experience for me. And so yeah, I worshiped God. And about halfway through the song, I had this moment where I just fell to my knees and I started crying. I was crying pretty hard, like a child, newborn. And so I remember that the only thing that I could say at that time was, I'm sorry. At the time, I really didn't know why. I ended up figuring it out later, but it was a really, really powerful moment. And looking back on it, the most powerful thing about it is that there was no boundaries to where God could reach me, right? You hear about these stories where people go across the world on some crazy mission trip, or like over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house to have this experience with the God of the universe. And so it was so cool to think that God met me where I was through a song on YouTube in my living room. Like, come on, that's amazing. And so from there, that was such an undeniable experience for me. And I was just, I was like, yeah, Jesus. And so I decided, hey, there's more. And I continued to pursue God. And the next step for me that I found out about through Life Center is, hey, I need to get baptized. And so about 3 years ago from Easter, I got baptized by my best friend, and if we're being completely honest, it was like the best day of my life. And actually one of the cool things about it is when I was getting baptized, guess what song was playing? Yeah, Love on the Line! Like, that's amazing. I mean, coincidence? I don't think so. And so again, just from there, this was a bit of I realized that there was still more to this relationship with God. And so I decided, hey, I'm going to take, again, that next step. And this step was much, much harder for me because I'm not a very social person. And so I decided, hey, there's some things that God is sharing with me that I need to communicate with other people, and there's some things that God is sharing with other people that need to be communicated with me. And so I joined the college group, and that was like amazing. I built so many beautiful relationships from that, and it's great. And from there, I got involved with Northwest Leadership College and doing some pretty kick-butt awesome things, so that's great. And yeah, here I am.